Hello, welcome. Today's question is how can you keep good people in your company? You're a business owner or a manager or a leader of your company. Um, and this pertains to people who if you manage or lead people who are millennials, young people or old people, slightly different, obviously, in some cases could be different, very vastly different situations. Millennials tend to want to stay at a company for a short period of time before they move on. They just want to learn and keep growing. Older people obviously tend to want to stay at a company and amass more experience so they can become even more marketable, or have more benefits, etc. So there are some differences, but there are some basic philosophical things to understand about retaining good people. And by good people, I mean they're performing well, etc. And they have good communication skills. They're very competent with you, but you want to approach them in a context of partnership, which is very much missing for a lot of people in companies. They don't have a sense of partnership with the company or their boss or the people who own the company. So when I advise or coach business owners, I tell them to start creating partnerships. So what does it mean to create a partnership? It has to be a win-win partnership. What does that mean? It means that they win and you win. So what does that mean even? It means that you want to specify how they win. And you want to find out how they specify a win is. What does it look like? How do you define it? Is it a certain amount of money that they make per year? Or is it a position? Or is it a kind of things that they learn? Is it a little less tangible skills that they want to amass? Even if they're intangible and non-tangible, you want to find out what they are and try to make them tangible as possible. Because if they're clear that they're getting what they want from you, and you're clear what you're getting what you need from them, you have a great partnership. That's important to set up. And again, it's so basic, it sounds basic, but most of the time it's ignored. And it's shocking how it's ignored. So it's no surprise to me when good people leave a company, because a lot of times the business owner assumes that the good person just wants to hang around because they're a good person, but it's not like that, So you always want to make sure that you have that partnership locked tight. So how does that work? Well, you want to get clear with the person what that career pathway looks like. How are you going to measure if they're on the path or not? So you want to find out what their career objectives are. Where would they like to be in 1 year or 5 years from now? And then you want to make sure that you set up some milestones for them to meet in order to be at that position. In return, obviously, they need to also have performance milestones to indicate that they're building up towards that. So that those performance milestones will serve you as the business owner, but they'll also serve them because they'll know if they're on track to hitting their objectives in 5 years from now. So that's going to be less distraction if someone else comes with a job offer for another company. So you got to think like that in order to retain very good people. So I hope that makes sense and gives you at least a starting point to think from. Now, obviously, I've oversimplified it. There's a lot more steps along the way. But what I found is when you follow these steps, they actually save you a lot of time in the long run, and certainly save you a lot of headache and uncertainty and sleepless nights wondering or worrying about losing employees. And I understand that. I've been in that situation myself, and I do not wish that on anybody. The best way to do it is to manage and create a long-term partnership with set performance goals for each of us, you as well as for the employee. So everyone's clear. This also reduces stress in the job, by the way, for you and for them, because they're clear where they're heading, and a lot of stress is due to uncertainty of whether the company is going to provide for them or not. Now, you don't have to give a guarantee. You don't have to put yourself at legal risk. You don't have to put yourself at risk of overpaying the person beyond their market rate. So if you plan it out right, then you can at least get another 5 years, another 10 years possibly out of people, and that includes millennials if you set it up right. So majority of millennials, but just human beings too, based on the studies I've seen, they're not incentivized so much by money necessarily, although money is important. But it's more about the status or the feeling of accomplishment that they get out of the job, or the feeling of relatedness, the fair way that you treat them, the conversations that they have, the socializing sometimes. It's all of that that actually keeps people in place. And it's also the education. People want to be educated so they have more confidence that they can move up to the ranks in their industry. So you want to bear all that in mind and not just assume that as long as you keep paying somebody, they're going to stay around. No, you're going to be surprised, and very rudely so, I assure you. So the better tack would be set up what I call the growth and breakthrough interview process, just what I just described in a nutshell. Finding out what people really want in the next 5 years, next 10 years, next 1 year. Now some people are going to say, I don't know. But you got to learn the art and science of digging in beyond that. Most employers will hear, oh, I don't know, and then they'll just scratch their heads and walk away from the conversation. No, when you ask somebody what they want to have in 5 years, and they say, I don't know, you want to dig in a little bit more. If you did know, what would that look like? Or, maybe you need to think about this and get back to me in the next 5 days. Because, and this pertains to business partnerships as well. When you set up a partner, you want to be clear where they want to head in 5 years. Because, again, you don't want to have any rude surprises. As a business owner, it's impossible to guarantee or completely predict your future, but you want to be able to avoid these kinds of avoidable things. If you can avoid it, spend a couple of hours avoiding it, it's probably worth your time. So I hope that makes sense and serves you, and I look forward to serving you in the future. Take care.